Oh, Maddie B raps. What the fuck is he doing besides making music videos of him killing cops or some shit?
Maddie!
Matt Jarbo. I was gonna call him Matt Garbo, but then I realized there's actually a singer named Matt Garbo, and I don't want to give him the satisfaction of being named after someone who actually has a more common sense than the Matt we're talking about. So he made a video asking Star Wars haters, what the fuck do you want? And I watched the entire video, and I can't believe I watched something so inane come from someone as popular as he is on this site. The first thing he mentions is the Carrie Fisher thing. They're bringing back Carrie Fisher for episode 9. How? Why? Why do this? You know, he's like, yeah, but everyone's just shitting on it. Like, for good reason. First of all, unless it's for 2 seconds, like the cameo that Leia had in Rogue One, Carrie Fisher should not be in this movie because there's no way of they're portraying her as anything other than a CGI character. Or at the very least, a stand-in for Carrie Fisher with just CGI on her face. They did this shit in Rogue One and it looked awful. Like, I'm sorry, but that was one of the worst parts of Rogue One. These characters who, by the way, did not have to be in the fucking movie. They just threw them in there for nostalgia reasons. So unless it's a cameo from Carrie Fisher, quote unquote, don't put her in the fucking movie. Because, again, we all saw how that turned out in Rogue One. Plus, didn't they say they weren't going to do this shit? Like, I don't know out of respect for her, but they just said they weren't going to do this, and I thought it was a respectful thing to do rather than just replace it with shit CGI. Guess they're getting desperate at this point with the way Solo turned out. But yes, there's also the thing he says about, oh, there are people who just say they hate it. No, it's stupid. Look, I get it. There are people who hate Star Wars no matter what. But this also brings light to the people who will like Star Wars no matter what. There's always going to be someone who hates a franchise no matter what. I like a franchise. Look at fucking Andre Cedeno. Hates MCU movies no matter fucking what. Doesn't matter if they're good or if it makes sense. But, you know, DC movie comes out, that doesn't make no sense. It's a home run. Same thing with his bizarro counterpart on Facebook, Zack Snyder. You know, no matter how good a DC movie could be or ends up being, he'll find 100 problems wrong with this shit. No matter how little sense an MCU movie makes and how badly written the plot is, it's fine. It's great. So yeah, there's gonna be those assholes out there, no doubt. But they're such a very small part. Like, I can tell you now, a large chunk of the Star Wars fan base hates these movies because they're not well done. There are legitimate reasons to hate the current state of Star Wars. It's not because it's became cool and hip or fashionable, you fucking dunce. It's not that. If Disney made a legitimately good, well-written, well-acted, and well-directed Star Wars movie with interesting characters, a good menacing villain, or villains, because there's like 3 of them now so far, and well 2 now because one of them, you know, got cut in half before we can even know a damn thing about them, and a half sensible plot, we wouldn't be here talking about this mess of a franchise. Okay? If it was actually legitimately good, do you really think we'd be sitting here having this discussion? Do you think you wouldn't be making this video right now? Because people wouldn't be shitting on it that much. The reason that a lot of people shit on this franchise is because it is terrible. The direction they're going is terrible. The writing, the characters are terrible. It's, as I said, Rey is the John Cena of this franchise. She's perfect. She barely goes through anything. I look at it like this, right? Let's take Luke and Rey. I would say Anakin, but he does go through some shit, but he mainly spends the most part of his trilogy whining or talking about pod racing or saying a bunch of awkward shit. So let's just go with Luke and Rey, right? Luke is, let's say it's like Super Star Wars. When you play Super Star Wars, you start off pretty fresh. You get a blaster, you get all these things, you gotta fight all these creatures. It is hard as balls. I'm not kidding. It's fucking unreasonably difficult, okay? And throughout the game, you have to work at it. It's trial and error. You get new shit. Like, eventually you get a lightsaber as Luke Skywalker. Eventually you get a bunch of power-ups and shit. It's trial and error. When you go through some shit while playing this game, that when you finally beat the game, it's a satisfying conclusion to what you've done. Ray, on the other hand, is like, you put in some fucking cheat code, and you can't die. You get the lightsaber immediately. You know all the force powers and shit. That's Ray. And she's terribly written. She doesn't go through anything. She has everything handed to her on a fucking silver platter. Hey, a new lightsaber? Yeah, I'll take that. With my new force powers that I somehow knew to use. Oh, am I trapped? I'll learn how to fucking use Jedi mind tricks that I didn't know about. I'll know how to use the force that I didn't even believe existed until like fucking 3 hours ago. You know? I'm fighting Luke Skywalker? I'll just beat him easily. This Jedi Master who's been training for God knows how long. Then now I can just easily beat him, even though I just learned how to do all this force shit in less than 24 fucking hours. That's why people hate her character. She's perfect. She doesn't go through any fucking trial and error. She gets everything handed to her. And people are sick of that shit. Okay, Matt? It's not fashionable to hate Star Wars, asshole. It's shit. The franchise is shit. You think people hated Solo or boycotted Solo because it's Star Wars? They hate Star Wars? No. I mean, there probably are some people who did. But for the most part, people just, A, didn't want the goddamn movie. And B, Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson don't know how to respect the fans. They do not listen to their fans. Why should we give them money for that? And I'm not going to suck their dick all of a sudden because they're bringing back Carrie Fisher. Which, again, makes no sense. Because, look, that was one of the main complaints I had about Rogue One. They brought back Tarkin and Leia. Why? They added nothing to the plot, number one. Number two, the CGI on them looked horrendous. And the only reason Carrie Fisher's didn't look that bad, Leia's CGI didn't look that bad, is because she was on screen for like no more than 5 seconds. Tarkin had full scenes. He looked terrible. And I find it hysterical that he's like, well, what's HJW about the Star Wars movies and stuff? He said he enjoyed Solo. I saw those scenes with that robot, L7 or something, whatever the name was called. I was baffled that they actually allowed that shit. Like, I legit thought it was a parody. Her death was even funny. He's like, fucking Lando's trying to pull her away and he rips her in half. That was fucking great. That was amazing. I was stunned when I saw that. You know, I only saw those scenes with that robot, you know, where they're like, oh, what do you want? Equal rights? I'm like, oh, fuck you, movie. Fuck you. I saw that in the Darth Maul shit, which was fine. The only reason I actually mildly enjoyed that scene is because Sam Witwer is back as Darth Maul, and that's it. Otherwise, the scene was just stupid. He just lights his lightsaber for no reason because Star Wars, apparently. Although, Matt does make one good point when he says that if people hate Star Wars so much, why do you keep talking about it? I've said this about Net Alien 17. I've even poked fun at fucking world-class bullshitters for this nonsense. 99.9% of the content is just fucking Star Wars. Why we hate it. We got it. It's like enough already. Thank you. We understand. Disney did things to you in your sleep or some shit, whatever. But then he fucks it up by saying, I think you just don't like Star Wars. No, stupid ass. It's not that we don't like Star Wars. We don't like bad Star Wars movies. We don't hate Star Wars now because it's Star Wars. We hate Star Wars now because the people behind the movies don't give a shit about the fans. They don't give a shit about the fans enough to make a quality film, at least. And then when we criticize the film, they go after us. They go, oh, fans of the... No. Even Warner Brothers knows better than to do this shit. They've made fucking shit DC movies, and they've been like, alright, yeah, even fucking David Ayer had the balls to say, yeah, I fucked up. I just don't see why Rian Johnson can't do the same. He wants to make a movie that splits the fans. Or just make a good movie. How is that? Don't make a movie that trolls people. Make a movie that's good. And this is the shit I said when I've seen some people going, oh, the Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know, it's okay for it to be just a filler movie. I mean, hey, Infinity War was good. Let me explain something to you, asshole. to any asshole saying this shit. I expect Infinity War level quality out of every comic book movie. In fact, I'm gonna go as further as say is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. That's the only movie I can think of that would give a 10 out of 10. Granted, I hadn't seen the movie in a couple of years, but I mean, the last time I saw it, I don't remember finding a single problem with that movie. But I expect every movie to at least have a 10 out of 10 rating. Now, I also expect the movie studio, the cast member, crew members, the director, writer, whoever, to aim to make a 10 out of 10 movie. Now, not every movie's going to be a 10 out of 10. If you get lower than a 10, that's fine. Lower than a 5, you fucked up, okay? And Star Wars has been fucking up. Rogue One, I give a 4. The Force Awakens, a 4. The Last Jedi, a 2. I haven't even bothered to watch Solo because I have zero interest in that shit. I've had zero interest in it since they announced it, like a Solo. Why a Han Solo movie? Why? Who cares how he got the Millennium Falcon? Who cares how he met Chewbacca? Who cares how he got the name Solo? By the way, I heard about that. He got it from an Imperial officer? Is that true? What the fuck? Why would he keep that name? If it came from some random Imperial dude. I don't care how he got his blaster. I don't care any of this shit. I don't care about the Kessel Run. I don't care. I heard it. I take the information in. It's done. Same thing with Rogue One. Like, how did they get the Death Star plans? They got them. I don't care. I don't give a shit. They're sitting there trying to bait characters' deaths. That's like, they're not gonna die. Apparently, he's been in like the next 7 fucking movies. Chewbacca, whoever, I think it was Chewbacca they were trying to do that with. You know, like, give me a fucking break, okay? It's not that we hate Star Wars. We hate bad Star Wars movies. We don't like the people in charge of these movies because they don't care. They think, Star Wars, put the fucking stamp that shit. Yeah. Oh, did you just shit in a plate? Alright, let me just put a Star Wars stamp on it. It'll make money. And I'm hoping to God right now that episode 9 plot leak is fake, like that X-Men Dark Phoenix plot leak from like a couple of months ago that everybody brought into because they're gonna hate Fox regardless. So I hope that's fake, because the Raylo thing again doesn't make any sense. It's like that Pro ZD video of shipping characters. Oh, they fucking. That's how they wrote that relationship. These two looked at each other one time. Oh, they fucking. That's like that's not how that works. That's not how you develop a relationship. That's number one. Number two, the Rey love child thing. I don't know who Rey fucked on Jakku to get a child. I pray to God it's not that fucking midichlorian bullshit, because that died with the Phantom Menace. That died in the Phantom Menace. It should stay there. Oh boy. And she had a child but never mentioned it until now. That's lovely. So, Matthew, Mundanematt, $3 Theater. I'm gonna call Matt Garbo again. I don't know about Matt Garbo's like musical talent, but I'm pretty sure he's more likable than Jarbo. You ask us, what do we want? What I want is for Lucasfilm to listen to the fans. Now, they'll have to listen to all the fans. Again, that part of the fan base, or that part of, people who are gonna hate Star Wars no matter what. You don't have to listen to them because you can't please them. At the same time, you also don't have to listen to that part of the fan base that's gonna like Star Wars no matter what. There's just nothing you're gonna do that's gonna displease them, because they're gonna like it shit regardless of the quality. So just listen to that part of the fan base that's critical and gives fair criticism. It's not like we're talking out our ass. There's fair criticism against The Last Jedi and the current Star Wars movies. So just listen to that part of the fan base that is telling you what to do better. Okay? Just listen to that part. And if you're not going to listen to that fan base, and I'm almost certain you're not at this point, then listen to this out of context clip from radio personality Anthony Cumia.
Fix your shit!